Breaking today, the monetization of Princess Lilibet has begun by Meghan Markle.
Why would promoting your kids on Instagram deter the paparazzi from coming and wanting to take pictures of your kids?
I don't know.
No, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it only encourage them? Why wouldn't it make them think, oh, right, so you're turning your kids into a commercial opportunity. You want to profit from their exposure all over your Instagram.
But she has been
you want to get more
forced to
followers,
live a public
which will make you
life.
more money. You don't get the hypocrisy?
Maybe 1%.
Do you see any of the real Diana in Meghan?
God,
you?
no.
Really?
No. Sorry. We are uncensored, but oh my God, the idea there's any comparison between Diana, who was the biggest star in the world.
The Queen of pretending to be Princess Diana. Because these grim new social media posts of the fake Duchess at Disneyland literally using the same poses as Diana on rides.
Slay the dragon, save the princess.
Yeah.
Meghan shared that bedside twerking video, taken shortly apparently before she gave birth to Lilibet, remember the child that she named after the Queen's private nickname, without getting permission from the Queen.
Prince Harry allowing a video like that so private to be put into the public domain to try and make some sort of point is equally awful.
It was to silence online trolls, apparently, who basically claimed she was never pregnant at all. Instead, the video has emboldened conspiracy theorists. They're calling it Megspiracy, and the pair are being subjected to yet more merciless ridicule.
That's a princess. That's not a princess. That's not a duchess.
I mean,
that's a disgrace.
serious royal life isn't just about tiaras and tabloid covers. It's about diplomacy, duty, and deference. It's a system built on nuanced protocol and deep-rooted cultural history.
It is uncomfortable, but I don't think, because she's done this before for photos, I don't think that is a real baby bump. I think
way too big. It's way too big.
and sort of too low as well.
Yeah, it's like a metre out there. I mean, it looks the wrong shape.
Where's she going to give birth there? Through her knees or something? I mean, that is too low.
I don't think it was a fake bump. I think she was pregnant and had a baby. I think the tackiness comes from somebody who's a member of the British royal family putting out a twerking, heavily pregnant video with him dancing around like a wooden clown next to her. It's all just embarrassing.
You're a duchess. Who does this? Who behaves like this? Who is supposedly pregnant? Sit your duchess of sausage butt down. What are you doing? Dancing all provocatively, supposedly pregnant in that big fake looking bump.
It makes them newsworthy. So you either then ignore what people are talking about and debating and having all the silly stuff about the fake bump and so on, or you embrace it and we do a debate and it's always the same stuff, right? You two are never going to give an inch. I'm never going to give an inch the other way. We're losing time from our lives. We're never going to get back with these people.
Meghan she doesn't really care what the British audience thinks of it. But her title and everything she has right now comes from Britain. It's from her title, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle, as we've seen numerous times, is pretty much a talentless grifter, to be quite honest, in my opinion. So
what was meant to be a sweet family day for Lilibet's birthday turned into yet another PR disaster for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Their highly staged Disneyland outing didn't spark joy, it sparked outrage.
With heartwarming snapshots of their perfect California lives. This weekend they shared tastefully obscured snaps of a family day out to Disneyland, and a week ago they gave us this.
And there's video footage of it.
Piers Morgan wasted no time publicly dragging the event, calling out what he saw as another calculated photo op. Instead of warm headlines, the couple found themselves at the center of a media firestorm.
Never complain and never explain was the late Queen's motto for royal PR. For Harry and Meghan, it's more a case of never reign and never abstain, especially when it comes to nauseating self-publicity, which invariably backfires.
Again, public backlash rolled in fast, with even some celebs reportedly throwing shade. A new legal threat is now brewing, aimed at Morgan, but the damage may already be done. Their carefully crafted image, privacy-obsessed yet conveniently public when it suits, just hit another wall.
They wanted freedom. They wanted their privacy. Since then, he's carried on suing everyone that moves, suing particularly over his personal security in the UK when he's hardly here, but to protect his family.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, here they are at Disneyland, putting pictures up of their kids all over social media for millions of people to look at. Again, I simply say, James,
it kind of
It's the hypocrisy. It's nothing else.
Are Harry and Meghan parenting in front of the camera or performing for it? It was meant to be a charming birthday outing, but what the public saw looked more like a staged production. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle showed up at Disneyland with Archie and Lilibet in tow, supposedly for a wholesome family weekend. But the internet wasn't buying it. It wasn't the trip itself that drew backlash. It was how calculated the entire thing felt. The kids' faces were blurred just enough to look protective. Expressions were oddly stiff, and camera angles, clearly micromanaged. Every shot looked engineered to scream candid, while conveniently reinforcing the Sussex brand of family-first values.
They are using their children to promote their parenting credentials. They are. Either protect their privacy and keep them out of it, or don't. You're using your kids to promote yourself.
But there is something really disturbing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
This is the same couple who once sued media outlets over privacy violations, now seemingly directing their own paparazzi playbook. So, are we watching a family moment or a perfectly lit PR reel? No one called out the contradiction louder, or with more bite, than Piers Morgan. He didn't hold back.
These two will sell anything about their privacy, and yet they'll fight privacy battle after privacy battle. It's total
I don't
hypocrisy.
agree with-
Prince Harry mauls his own brother, accuses his father, the new king, of being a liar, even has a dig at his late great-grandmother, the Queen, for standing by and doing nothing. Another tissue of self-serving lies, mostly, I suspect. We don't know yet, but most of it looks like the Oprah interview, just another load of unsubstantiated smears designed to portray them as victims.
Blasting the Sussexes for what he called a fake display of parental virtue. He nailed what many were thinking. Posting your kids to boost your image, then blurring their faces to act like you're protecting them? That's not privacy, it's performance. And it hit hard. Reports say Harry and Meghan are now gearing up for yet another lawsuit, this time against Morgan. Once again, they're parading their kids for good press until the narrative slips. Then it's all about privacy and legal threats. But once Morgan spoke up, the whole carefully curated story started to unravel.
I don't want to be doing another bloody segment on Meghan Markle and Harry, right? Except that they compel people to do it. Because what this show does, it covers the news, it covers what people's talking about. If all the papers are full of her twerking and them going off to Disneyland and plastering emojis over their kids' faces whilst selling the kids on their social media and so on, and bleating about privacy, I'm very angry about the ongoing attacks and diminishing of the reputation of the royal family and the monarchy. And anyone that sets out to systematically destroy that brand as they've done and simultaneously make millions from fleecing their royal titles.
Let's break down what really happened. On June 4th, Prince Harry and Meghan were spotted at Disneyland in California, celebrating little Lilibet's birthday. On the surface, a sweet family moment. But dig a little deeper, and it starts to look more like a strategic PR play than a casual day out. Here's the real question. If privacy is so sacred to them, why bring their young kids to one of the most heavily photographed places on Earth? It's not like they didn't have options. Disneyland offers private VIP tours, access to secluded areas, and celebrity-grade security packages. But according to reports, none of that was used. So, was this about family time or headline time? Photographers just happened to be in the perfect spot at the perfect moment? Yeah, hardly a coincidence.
Why put your kids all over social media? If all you're banging on about all the time is wanting privacy and protection for those children.
Here's my child. Peekaboo. Here's my child. Why post anything of your child? Your husband talks about the social media harm and effect of social media on children, but yet you are promoting social media posts.
According to sources inside Disneyland, the Sussex entourage was unusually visible, with photographers mysteriously gathering in select areas of the park. Translation: this wasn't just captured, it was coordinated. Once again, Harry and Meghan find themselves crying foul about media intrusion, while seemingly scripting their own photo ops. And the results? Front page features across the tabloids, Daily Mail, TMZ, Entertainment Tonight, all spotlighting the "we just want to be left alone" couple. Then, like clockwork, Piers Morgan entered the chat and dropped a bomb. With one ruthless post, he peeled back the PR curtain. He didn't name names, but his words were razor sharp.
Meghan Markle has gone back to live in California, and she's living the life she probably wanted all along.
Yes.
A life of unparalleled luxury and riches that she got by marrying her handsome British prince. She's living back in the state that she came from.
Celebrities that constantly post pics of their kids to promote their parenting credentials, but block their faces out like this to pretend they care about their privacy make me chuckle. We see you.
Celebrities that constantly post pics of their kids to promote their parenting credentials, but block their faces out like this to pretend they care about their privacy make me chuckle. We see you. It was brutal, it was direct, and it didn't need a name. Everyone knew who he meant. The public got it, the media got it. Even insiders in Hollywood couldn't hold back their smirks. Because here's the thing, he wasn't wrong.
Well, Meghan specifically, her social media gets a significant amount more views than the Prince and Princess of Wales. I think it's almost shameless, and it's more about clickbait and generating her own headline.
This is my problem with it.
It is disgusting. Meghan, girl, you need to do better. I don't know what you think you're going to prove from this, but you're absolutely proving nothing with this appalling behavior.
This isn't the first time Harry and Meghan have strategically used their children to boost their brand. Meghan referenced them repeatedly in her Netflix docuseries, and Harry's memoir, Spare, is filled with carefully placed Archie moments. But when it comes to something as simple as letting a photo show their kids clearly, suddenly they're champions of extreme privacy. It's not about protection, it's about control. This isn't private parenting. It's curated exposure, served up when it suits their narrative, and shut down the second it doesn't. That's why Piers Morgan's takedown didn't just stink. It exposed something deeper.
After a series of high-profile flops, including Harry's disastrous polo series and Meghan's lifestyle show, they appear to be making a dignified retreat into irrelevance.
See this institutional gaslighting that happens is extraordinary. And that's why everything that's happened to us was always going to happen to us. Because if you speak truth to power, that's how they respond.
Before you gave up any royal duty, but wanted to have your royal cake and eat it by keeping your title so you could exploit them and make gazillions of dollars in America to the highest bidder. And what do you do for that money? You trash your family endlessly. And you're going to keep doing it, as does your wife, who trashes her own family, most of whom she's disowned.
And instead of reflecting on the criticism, the Sussexes are reportedly doing what they do best, reaching for the legal playbook. According to sources close to Morgan and insiders in UK media, Harry and Meghan are once again considering legal action against him. Why? Because he won't back down. More importantly, he's immune to the guilt tactics that have silenced others. Let's not forget, it was Meghan's earlier complaint that led to Morgan's dramatic departure from Good Morning Britain. But unlike many in the media, he's not buying into their My Truth narrative. Legal threats have become their go-to weapon. Whether it's the tabloids, the Home Office, or journalists who step out of line, it's always the same move. Sue, silence, spin.
The world's biggest victims right now are the Duke and Duchess of Netflix.
But truth be told, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how good I was, no matter what I did, they were still going to find a way to destroy me.
Yeah, nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour. The truth be told, what you just said is complete and utter garbage.
I can't imagine having to feel like it's appropriate to have those sorts of close and should be otherwise private family conversations just fleshed out in public. I find that really quite sad.
But this time, they may be swinging too high. Piers Morgan has the platform, the proof, and now growing public support. And while the heat is building in the media, things are reportedly boiling over behind palace walls too. According to insiders cited by The Times and The Telegraph, Prince William has reached his limit. The Prince of Wales is set to be furious, and it's not just about headlines. Sources claim he's pushing behind the scenes to reevaluate Harry and Meghan's royal titles and remaining privileges. Why now? Because this Disneyland episode wasn't just another contradiction. It was a manipulation too far, using little Lilibet Diana's birthday, a name and title bestowed by the very monarchy they publicly criticized.
You are Kardashians, absolutely. Why not, Father Calvin, just put the bill to Parliament now? Just strip them.
Well,
just strip them of their titles. I'm done.
I think the post is more about Meghan, if anything. Here are my children, but look at me. You know, I'm here too.
And then they put out pictures of Lilibet, but it doesn't. You see her half covered. Right. But what you always see is Meghan. So it's all about Meghan again.
As part of a photo op, that struck a nerve. William sees the damage, and he's reportedly done staying silent. Every staged PR stunt chips away at the monarchy's credibility. Every blurred face followed by a streaming deal makes the firm look like a running gag. And the future king? He's not about to watch his own family become reality show collateral. Meanwhile, social media went in. Eagle-eyed users immediately clocked the recycled PR playbook, kids on display for image points, faces blurred like CIA documents. Twitter, now X, Reddit, Instagram, commenters were brutal. The question exploded. If you want privacy, why take your kids to the busiest place on earth? If privacy really mattered, just say it was a photo op, because that's exactly what it looked like. Not a genuine family moment. The contradictions were hard to ignore.
Meghan just seems to want to exploit her children to make money and forget, what their messaging is about Parents Network. She just wants to use these children to make money. The children are there, but it's really about me, and my image and what I want to portray. Meghan is doing her own thing. Harry, go whatever with you. I'm doing what I want to do with these children and exploiting them and going against what their branding is supposed to be around children in social media.
Commenters were quick to point out if they truly wanted to keep Archie and Lilibet out of the public eye, they had options. Dozens of private resorts, low-profile estates, quiet, secure locations. But instead, they picked Disneyland on a weekend, one of the most visible photographed places in the world. And then to blur the kids' faces afterward, that only reinforced what critics like Piers were already saying. This wasn't parenting, this was performance. Even some longtime supporters were left scratching their heads because once again, Harry and Meghan wanted both worlds.
On a bigger level, it is damaging to the royal family. He's out there, this renegade royal, wanting his royal cake and eat it. That's my problem with him.
So if King Charles or Prince William do want this to happen, now is the time to make it happen over this next 4 years while there's still a Labour government in power.
The headlines without the scrutiny, the exposure without the consequences, but this time, the public's patience seems to be wearing thin. Meanwhile, another storm was quietly brewing behind the scenes. Meghan Markle's highly promoted podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, is struggling and badly. Early data from industry trackers shows shockingly low engagement, especially for a launch riding the full weight of her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. The audience isn't just disinterested, they're tuning out in droves.
Nobody cares about her jam. She pretended it all sold out. Really? Maybe what you did was sell about 3 jars and claim it's a sellout, hoping that would fuel sales. Nobody cares.
She put just a few tins of the scam jam on sale. There was hardly any product. And now we learn it's not going to be restocked for this year at all. And some of the products may never come back.
I'm opening this cylinder now. If you're watching, what a ta-da!
A taste of entitlement, greed, avarice and deception.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And here's where it connects. Insiders believe the Disneyland outing wasn't just about Lilibet's birthday. It was a strategic distraction, an attempt to redirect public attention and soften Meghan's image. What better way to shift the narrative than a wholesome Disney moment with 2 adorable kids? But the plan flopped hard. Instead of boosting her podcast or brand, the outing ignited more criticism, more mockery, and more doubt. Meghan wasn't seen as an authentic voice or a relatable mom. She was seen as someone staging a moment for media gain. And the public, they're clearly done playing along. The attempted rebrand from Royal Rebel to California Mompreneur didn't land. It missed completely. The glamour has officially worn off. With their media ventures crumbling one after another, Harry and Meghan now seem to be leaning on the only card they have left, their children's public image.
Meghan entered this world like it was a Hollywood set, assuming she could rewrite the script, center herself in every scene, and edit out anything that didn't fit her narrative.
You mentioned, where's this beloved privacy that they talk about?
Yeah.
We want privacy! We want privacy! They don't want attention. This is just so attention. This is all about her. Right. It's not about Lilibet.
Back in the UK, palace insiders say King Charles was deeply embarrassed by the Disneyland stunt, especially with the timing. It unfolded just days before Trooping the Color and other major royal events, leading some at the palace to suspect it wasn't accidental. According to a senior courtier, the king believes the outing was timed to pull attention from the royal calendar, and worse, to leverage the monarchy's brand, using Lilibet's royal name and birthday for media buzz, while simultaneously dragging the institution in the press and courts? That's a bitter pill to swallow. And let's not forget, Lilibet was named after Queen Elizabeth II, a name Harry and Meghan claimed they had permission to use. But Buckingham Palace publicly refuted that. The Queen was never asked. To many in Britain, that felt deeply disrespectful. So imagine how Charles must feel, mourning his mother's legacy, only to watch her name turned into a Disney Day photo op, paparazzi in tow.
He's the one that continues to cause enormous damage to the royal family because he's the king's son and he keeps whacking them away. The king won't even see him, Kinsey, because he doesn't trust him not to immediately go and brief People magazine about the conversation. Harry and Meghan take their audience for fools. They blame everybody but themselves. They present even the most incendiary of claims with no evidence. And sadly, the impact is real. The royal family is getting damaged. The monarchy is getting tarnished.
And those blurred faces, they weren't for privacy, they were for effect. According to a palace source quoted by the Daily Mail, King Charles now sees this behavior as not just self-serving, but downright childish and disconnected from reality. He's no longer just offended. Behind the scenes, he's reportedly exploring legal and institutional options to finally draw a hard line, including the potential to strip Archie and Lilibet of their HRH status. Let's be honest, Meghan's narrative around privacy is crumbling fast.
As people call them, they're like grief tourists now, but wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. but don't do it in the name of our royal family.
This is someone who sued The Mail on Sunday for publishing a private letter, only to have hand-picked messages leaked later in Finding Freedom. Someone who told Oprah she wanted to escape the spotlight, then dropped a 6-part Netflix series packed with never-before-seen home videos of Archie and Lilibet, and now a thunderclap from inside the royal circle. Sources close to Prince William are finally saying what many have suspected all along. And now, with the royal spotlight dimming and the public finally catching on, the narrative is slipping out of Meghan and Harry's hands. The carefully crafted image, the blurred faces, the lawsuits, the documentaries, it's all unraveling. What started as a fairy tale has morphed into a full-blown strategy gone stale. Even those who once defended the Sussexes are beginning to ask, was it ever really about the truth or just the optics? If you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who values the full picture, not just the polished version. So if you want more deep dives into the truth behind the headlines, subscribe to Star Spotlight for weekly breakdowns of the biggest celebrity stories and media moments. Because the real story, it's never just what you're shown. Not professional advice. Consult a qualified expert as needed.